Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Are there questions for homework? Yes. Starting from seventh one. Seventh we have done. Part B we have to do. Seventh part A was to prove the centripetal acceleration equation is A equals V square over R. In the part B, the aeroplane flies in a horizontal circle by tilting to one side in a movement called banking. The aeroplane creates an upward lift force which acts in a direction perpendicular to its wings. The diagram shows this lift force when the aeroplane is banking. Explain how banking allows the aeroplane to fly in a horizontal circular path. Okay, guys, now, for any object to move in a circular path, there should be a centripetal force. Without a centripetal force, there can't be a circular motion. Okay. So when an aeroplane is turning, you have definitely seen its wings, they slant the wings. The reason is, now if the wings were horizontal, okay, if the wings were horizontal, this lift force will be vertical and the weight will be downwards. Then the vertical forces are balanced. It can just go in a horizontal direction. There's no centripetal force. But there's when this fellow tilt it, now you see the lift force is at an angle perpendicular to the plane. So now there is a component of this lift force, a component that will be towards the horizontal, which is towards the center of the circle. Understand? There is a component of this lift force this way that is providing a force in the horizontal direction that will be providing a centripetal force. So if the plane wants to turn, you see the plane is tilted. You have experienced this, right? Those who have been in a plane. Yes, right? Whenever the plane is turning, it will tilt. That's because then the lift force will give a component in the horizontal direction. That component is what going to provide the centripetal force. That is what going to help you to take the bait. Understood? So it's a 4-marker. The question is explain how the banking allows the aeroplane to fly in a horizontal circular path. So, right? There will be a component of the lift force in the horizontal direction towards the center of the circle and it provides the centripetal force. It provides the centripetal force. Full stop. So the plane will move in a circular path. that okay? Right. Part 2. During banking, the angle between the wings and the horizontal is 5.2 degrees. Calculate the radius of the path when the aeroplane flies at a constant speed of 530 meters per second. The mass of the aeroplane is given 4.1 into 10 to the power 5 kilograms. So guys, let's say now this is the plane. Okay. So with the horizontal, it's making an angle theta, where the theta is 5.2 degrees. Okay. So what are the forces acting? The weight is acting downwards, mg. And this perpendicular lift force is acting F. That's perpendicular to the plane. Correct? Now guys, I will take this here, I'll draw the horizontal. And I'll draw the vertical here. Simple maths. If this is theta, this will be theta as well, which is an alternative angle. If that is theta, this will be 90 minus theta. If that is 90 minus theta, this will be theta. Is that right? Right. Guys, they have given they're asking for the radius. They have given the angle and the mass and the speed. Speed is 530 meters per second. The mass is given. The angle is given. These are the three data available. We have to find the radius. Look at this one. Guys, if I consider the vertical equilibrium of the plane, now the plane is moving in a horizontal circle, means its resultant force is in the horizontal direction. Correct? Its acceleration is in the horizontal direction. It's moving in a horizontal circle. It's not making a vertical movement. So which means the vertical resultant force is 0. Very good. So guys, if I consider the vertical resultant force, F cos theta is equal to mg. Am I right? The F has a vertical component, which is F cos theta. Mg is downwards. So this F cos theta should be equal to mg. Yeah, I can get one relationship between the F and the M, which is F cos theta equals mg. Okay. Then if I get the F subjected from here, F equals mg over cos theta. Okay. Now for the plane, which is moving in a circular path, I will use F equals ma. F is F sine theta, because what I want is the centripetal force. So centripetal force is the component of this F towards the center of the circle, which is F sine theta. This way. So F sine theta equals m into A is V square over R. Okay. Now what is F? Mg over cos theta. So I will replace this F with mg over cos theta. That into sine theta equals mv square over R. So the m's on either sides will actually cancel off. G, what is sine theta over cos theta? Tan theta. So I will replace with G tan theta equals V square over R. So if I get the R subjected here, R equals V square over G tan theta. Method of substitution now. V is 530. 530 square. G is 9.81 into tan 5.2. This will give you the radius. That is 314,635 meters. Is that okay? If you have any questions, you can ask. Anyone who got this answer? Very good. What's next? Question 10. Oh, the 10th first part is to prove, no? We did that, no, in the previous question. No? You want me to do it again? Fine. I'll do it once more. Look at this, guys. The ball moves clockwise in a circle of radius r with a center O, and it's moving with a constant speed v. Derive the equation for the centripetal acceleration a v square over r by considering the velocity of the point ball at these 2 points. Your answer should include a vector diagram, right? So guys, I'll take the velocity at this point to be VA. And here I will take it to be VB, the tangential velocities. So the acceleration will be VA minus VB divided by the time taken. So if I put up a delta V will be VA minus VB, which is VA plus minus VB. Thank you very much. So guys, VA is, this is VA. So this is VA. And this is VB. So minus VB will be in the opposite direction. This is minus VB. Correct? So my vector triangle is going to look like this. VA. But their magnitudes are the same. And minus VB. So VA plus minus VB means this one. This is going to be the delta V. The resultant of, yeah, that's okay. VA minus VB, the resultant will be this one. So, and also from here, if I draw this triangle, AB, this length is R, this length is R, this length is AB. And this angle is theta. Correct? So if I consider these two triangles and the angle between VA and VB, this one is theta, no? Okay. I have explained this last week or the week before also. So just I'll mark it here now, theta. So considering the similar triangle, this length is now, guys, V. The modulus of this is also V. So I can take V over R is equal to delta V over AB. Correct? The ratio between the corresponding sides will be equal. V over R equals delta V over AB. Okay? So V over R delta V over AB, this AB becomes the arc length actually. That is R theta. Okay? Cross multiply, delta V equals, R's will cancel off, V theta. Okay? Delta V equals V theta. So the acceleration equals delta V over T. So delta V is V theta over T. So V theta over T means omega. So then we know V equals R omega using that one. Omega equals V over R. So I will use V, omega is V over R. So finally, A equals V into V over R. That is V square over R. If you do this proof, you will get the entire 5 marks without skipping any particular part. You show all the parts in the proof, you will get the 5 marks. Easy 5 marks, guys. If you know to prove it, there's nothing to spontaneously think. Just follow the steps, you get the marks. Come again. A bit louder, please. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Any questions, anyone? And the B part of that, the rest of the question we have done. Good morning. All right. What's the next question? The one. Guys, now some people get late to the class. The class starts at 9 o'clock, right? Some people get late to the class. I'm not only talking about you. There were more people who got late. I mean, what is the reason? What? Okay, you couldn't book an Uber.
No, like I had
Ah, you? You slept late. So you woke up late. Others who got late? Sorry?
I got late.
Why?
Because I was sad.
You were studying and okay, fine. Now it's listen. Now, guys, I don't know. Some people have this mindset. It's a category of people. They think this getting late for an event. I'm not talking only about a class. But getting late is something normal. I have seen that maybe it's a South Asian mindset. Okay, but guys, getting late is not normal. Just train your mind for that. That is actually very not nice. It's ugly. So you coming late for a class 5-10 minutes, there's nothing I'm going to lose by that. Okay. Maybe you also won't lose much by getting 5-10 minutes late. But if you can train yourself to be on time, trust me, in the future, there will be a lot of value on that. Okay. It's not that you have to be there on that time. What I'm saying is that will define your character. The impression that you will create in the future at a public event, or maybe you go for an interview, or when you're working at a place. Okay. So the punctuality, this is part of the soft skills. So no matter what is the degree that you are having, even if you have the world's best degree, if you don't have the correct soft skills with you, that will spoil your opportunities in the future. Has anyone told you about it? I am experience. Okay. So if you don't improve these soft skills, it's not only about the degree and the certificate that you are having. That is not going to take you to the places what you want to. You have to improve as a person. Okay. So I would consider this punctuality is something, if you can work on time, okay, at least if you can be there for an event at least 5-10 minutes earlier, that will add a lot of values for you. Okay. People who are on the receiving end will have a lot of confidence in you. Right. So I'm telling you, as a person who has experienced this and person who work with other lecturers and staff, I really get irritated when someone gets late to work. Okay. There's, I seriously hate it. Even other lecturers, if they come late to the class, I will send them a warning, or I will just send them a message saying not to do it. So that is a bad patch that they are creating for themselves. So don't do it in the future. I'm telling you, from now itself, train yourself to work on time. Okay. And it's very classy. I think yes. Did we right? Yeah. Right. Next question number 11. So learn the lesson today. Don't get late. Next time, if you get late, I will embarrass you at the beginning itself. Huh? Okay. If you know that you have class in the morning at 9 on the previous day, sleep early. If you think that there is traffic, leave home 15 minutes early. So there is always solution for the problems. Be prepared. Question 11. The photograph shows a track for a toy car. The car moves down the track towards a circular loop. The loop starts at a point A. If the release point of the car is high enough, the car moves fast enough to pass point C and complete the circular loop, continuing to the end of the track at point D. Okay. If the release point is too low, the car falls off the track between B and C. Deduce whether a car released from a vertical height of 25 centimeters above the point A will complete the loop and reach point D. You should assume the friction is negligible. Vertical height of point C is above A is 22 centimeters. The mass of the toy car is given 33 grams. Guys, do you understand the case? Now imagine, have you played a game like this when you were small? Yes? Fine. So now there is a toy car here. When you release it from a certain height, what happens? It goes down this track and it will go along this circular track. It might go up to here. So if you can increase the release point, if you start from here, maybe it will go up to here. And maybe when you increase the height further, it will go up to here. And if it reaches point C, then it will complete the circle. Am I right? So your height should be sufficient for the car to reach point C. If it passes point C, then it won't fall. Anyway, it will reach point B. Correct? That's what even the question says. The question says, if the release point is too low, the car falls off the track between point B and C. It will fall between B and C. So if it passes C, then it will definitely reach D. Am I right? So now we have to check what is the minimum required height so that the toy car will reach point C. Correct? Right. Then, guys, when it reaches C, vertical height of point. Anyone who got the answer for this? What is your conclusion? Okay, there's no friction. No. Now let's say I will consider the principle of conservation of energy. Initial height is how much? 22 centimeters above point A. And the point C is 22 centimeters above point A. So I will take with reference to this level from A. Okay. Okay. We call this the datum. What is datum? Where we assume the potential energy to be zero. So guys, the total energy at the initial point will be M into G into the height is 25 centimeters, which is 0.25 meters. Okay. That is the total potential energy at that height. There's no kinetic energy at that point because you just release it. You don't give a speed. From 25 centimeters, you just hold the toy car on the track and you release it. So it doesn't have a kinetic energy. Okay. So mgh, h is 0.25. That is equal to, once it reaches point C, the gravitational potential energy is mg into 0.22 because the height is 22 centimeters plus the kinetic energy is half mv square. Am I right? Is that okay? Half mv square. Now I can cancel these m's. So I will take this 0.2.
So how can you cancel 3 m's with only, I mean, how can you cancel 3 with only 2? There are
I'm
only,
dividing-
there are 3 m's, right? So how can you cut?
I'm
3
dividing the entire equation with m.
Okay.
If I divide the entire equation with m, all the m's will cancel out, right? So guys, 0.25 g and this is 0.22 g. If I bring it to the left, 0.25 g minus 0.22 g, that is equal to half v square. So 0.03 g cross multiply with 2, that is equal to v square. So v square is equal to, use the g as 9.81, 0.03 into 9.81 into 2, v square is 0.5886. That is a v square once it reaches the maximum height. Now guys, when it reaches the maximum height, at this maximum height, what are the forces acting on this toy car? Okay, weight is acting down. And the normal reaction is which way? Normal reaction from the track is downwards. Okay. Now the weight is acting down. Normal reaction is also acting down. The addition of those two is what is going to provide the centripetal force. So I will use F equals ma in the downward direction at the maximum height. R plus mg equals ma, which is mv square over r. So R equals mv square over r minus mg. Okay. So R equals, m is 33 grams, which is 0. R equals, m is 33 grams is 0.033 into v square is, we just found here, 0.5886. Over R is, how much is the R, guys? 11 centimeters, no? Correct? Diameter is 22 centimeters. From A to C, the distance is 22 centimeters. So the radius is half, which is 11 centimeters. 11 centimeters is 0.1. Minus mg again, 0.033 into 9.81. So let's check the value of R here. 0.033 into 0.5886 over 0.11 minus 0.033 into 9.81, which I am getting minus 0.147, which is less than 0. What does that mean? What does that mean? Will it reach point C? No. If it is reaching point C, guys, at that point there should be a contact force. No, so now here we are getting a negative value means actually there's no contact at that point. So the contact force has become 0 even before it reaches point C. Understand? You get what I'm saying? So guys, there is no contact force means there is no contact between the two. So now this bottle is on this table, there's a contact force between the two. The moment I lift this bottle, now the contact force is 0. So the contact force is 0 means there is no contact. Okay. So guys, here this fellow, the toy car we calculated at the maximum height based on the speed. So at that point, the normal contact force is becoming negative, which means even before it reaches point C, somewhere between B and C, the contact force has already become 0. Correct? So that means before it reaches point C, this toy car is going to fall. Understand? Is that clear? So go up to that point and then make the conclusion.
Excuse me, sir. What is the R on the toy?
Sorry?
The R on the
R
toy.
is the R means the contact force from the loop on the car.
Okay,
That is
so
what
then mv squared over R is the centripetal force.
that simple R is the radius, mv square over R. Here
No,
this
what is mv squared over R? I'm asking.
M,
mv squared over R, what is that?
this is the resultant centripetal force, which is the addition of all the forces towards the center. Okay.
Yeah. No, so isn't there force acting on the opposite direction, like upwards?
On the car?
Yeah.
No. There's nothing, no. Weight is acting down, contact force is acting down. Any question? Guys, this centripetal force is not a type of force like weight, like contact force, air resistance. Those are different types of forces, no. Centripetal force is not a type of force. What you call as centripetal force is all the resultant of all the forces towards the center. That resultant you call it centripetal force. Okay. The centripetal force, the word is not, it's not a force, it's not a type of force. You get what I'm saying? So centripetal force can be due to various forces. It can be due to friction, it can be due to weight, it can be due to normal contact force, it can be due to wind. Last in the, like in the previous question that we did for the plane, there was an uplift due to the pressure difference between the air. So that component is providing the centripetal force. Understand? So whatever the resultant force towards the center of the circle acting on an object which is moving in a circle, that is what we call the centripetal force. Write the statement there. Contact force on the toy car. Contact force on the toy car. Has become 0. Has become 0. Somewhere between B and C. Full stop. So the car will fall off the track. So the car will fall off the track. Between B and C. Okay. What's next? 13. Question number 13. 18th century clocks sometimes used a conical pendulum to measure regular periods of time. A conical pendulum consists of a bob of mass M fixed to the end of a wire of length L. The bob is said to follow a circular path in a horizontal plane. Circular path in a horizontal plane. The wire makes an angle theta with the vertical. Add to the diagram to show the forces, the two forces acting on the bob. So guys, definitely the weight is acting downwards. Mg. And the tension from the wire, is it a wire or wire? Yes. The tension from the wire, that will be this way. I'll mark it T. Okay. The next part of the question, derive the following equation for the angular velocity of omega of the bob. This one they have given. So guys, I will consider just like how we did that plane case, it will be similar to that one. If I consider the vertical equilibrium, vertically the resultant force is 0. So guys, if this is theta, simple, this is theta as well, alternative angles. Correct? So if I consider the vertical equilibrium, T cos theta equals mg. T cos theta equals mg. So T equals mg over cos theta. T equals mg over cos theta. So now I'll use F equals ma towards the center of the circle. F is going to be what? What is F? T sine theta, very good. T sine theta, because you have to take the component of the T, which is towards the center of the circle. That is T sine theta. That is equal to M into R omega square. So guys, now the T I will replace with mg over cos theta. That into sine theta. M into, guys, now this is the R, no? This is the R, right? This is the radius of the circle, no? Simple trigonometry. Even your granny will know these trigonometric equations. Sine theta or cos theta, sine theta if I take opposite over hypotenuse, which is R over L. Correct? Sine theta equals R over L. So R equals L sine theta. So the R I will replace with L sine theta into omega square. Interesting. The sine thetas on either sides will cancel off. Okay. M's on either sides will cancel off. So we are left with G over cos theta here. L omega square here. Correct? So if I get the omega square subjected, that is G over L cos theta. So if you get the omega subjected, you get the square root of it. G over L cos theta. Square root of G over L cos theta. That is what they wanted you to prove. Anyone who got this answer? Very good. Yes. People online, hello, hi. Hi there.
Yes.
Any
So does the
question?
vertical components have to be 0
Yes,
in order
because
to get this?
if it's moving in a horizontal circle, if it is moving in a horizontal circle, that means there is no vertical movement, right? So vertical movement of there means the vertical resultant force has to be 0. Right. The second part is a clock requires the period of the bob to be 5 seconds. The length is given, theta is given, deduce whether this arrangement leads to the required period. Right, guys, I'll take, we know now omega is root G over L cos theta. Omega is root G over L cos theta. So G is 9.84. L is they have given 6.4. Cos theta is 13.9. So guys, this will give us that omega which is 1.257 or 1.2566 radians per second. So guys, then the time period I can find t equals 2 pi over omega. That will be 2 pi over omega will be 5.00 seconds. Anyway, the requirement was the time period to be 5 seconds, right? Beautiful. Yes. Conclusion. Yes. Now, even for a person, guys, who has not done the previous part, now let's say the part B, part 1, you haven't done, but still you can use that form, the equation given omega equals root G over L cos theta, and still you can do the next part. Okay, so be smart like that at the exam. Why do we use F equals ma? That's because this bob is accelerating toward the center of the circle. It's in a circular motion. So centripetal acceleration is given by r omega square. Guys, what's next? A track for go-karts is being built in a park. The design criteria state that the track must have semicircular ends with straight track in between as shown. The track must allow the go-kart to travel safe at speed at 35 kilometers per hour, which is 9.72 meters per second, on the bends. Mass of go-kart and driver is 185 kilograms. The diameter of AB is given 30 meters. For one design, the track is horizontal. As the go-kart goes round the semicircular end of the track, centripetal force is provided by the friction between the track and the tires. You know that, right? When a vehicle is taking a bend, most of the time it is given by the tire, the friction between the tire and the road. Yes, you know that. Have you seen, guys, these Formula 1 races and all are there? Okay, during that, they already start the car with a brand new tire. Okay, even during the race, have you seen they change tires? Why?
It wears off fast because they're going
It
with
wears
high
off
speeds.
fast. It doesn't wear off much. Okay, we of course run about 25,000, 30,000 kilometers with the tire, no? So they don't do that. After a few kilometers, they change. The reason is once it is even slightly used, what happens is when the friction reduces, they can't take the bends at that speed. If they want to take it at a high speed, definitely the friction has to be high, or else definitely they will skid off the track. So it's definitely physics. They know the optimum speed at which they have to take the bend depending on the curvature. Depending on the radius of curvature, they know what is the optimal speed to take the bend. I'm talking about the professionals, okay, not the street heroes. So they know the optimum speed at which to take the bend. So then they know that how much should be the friction. So then they know they have to change the tires. So it is connected based on this equation actually. So if you know the radius, you know you can find what is the friction required. So anyhow, the question is now, as the go-kart goes around the semicircular end of the track, centripetal force is provided by friction between the track and the tires. This is shown in the free body force diagram. So friction is this way, the weight is acting down, normal contact force is up. Fine. Show that this design meets the design criteria. Maximum frictional force available is 1180 meters. Right, let's see. Guys, with diameter is 30 meters. Mass is 185 kilograms. The track must allow go-kart to travel safely at speeds up to 9.72 meters per second. So now maximum frictional force is 1180 newtons. So I'll use F equals ma for the car when it's taking the bend. So that is F equals m v square over r. So v equals fr over m square root. Am I right? So the maximum speed that they can get with this frictional force will be F is 1180 newtons. R is how much, guys? What is the R? 15 meters. The diameter is 30. So R is 15. Over the combined mass is 185. So this will tell you what is the maximum speed that they can take with this force available. 1180 into 15. That is 9.78. Am I right? Which is more than 9.72. The requirement was 9.72, right? So the requirement is they should be able to go at a speed 9.72 meters per second. Of course, yes. You can go at a speed of 9.78 maximum speed with this tire, with this frictional force. That means, yes, the design meets the criteria. Write the conclusion. Yes, design meets the criteria. Please don't just copy. See what are we doing? They had given the maximum force that frictional force. So based on that maximum frictional force, we calculated the maximum speed at which it can take the bend, which is 9.78. The design criteria was what? You should be able to go at a maximum speed of 9.72 meters per second. So the maximum permissible speed that we are getting is 9.78, which is more than what they want. That means yes, approved. Okay. Any questions, anyone? Any questions? Part B. A second design uses a track that is banked at the circular ends, semicircular ends. The track is banked at an angle theta to the horizon. At a particular speed v, the go-kart can follow the track without any frictional force perpendicular to its motion. The diagram shows the forces on the go-kart as it is moving away. Show that tan theta is equal to 2v square over jd. D is the diameter AB of the curved part of the track. Calculate the angle theta using the stated design criteria for this track. Have you all done it? Yes. I'll give you a minute, give a try. This is similar to the previous two questions that we did. One is about the plane and the other one is about the wire which was tilted at an angle. Right. Fine. Guys, I'll take a contact force to be F. This angle is theta. This angle is theta means if I draw a horizontal line here, this will be theta. If that is theta, this will be 90 minus theta. And this will be theta. Okay. So the weight is mg. if I consider the vertical equilibrium, if cos theta, that's equal to mg, F equals mg over cos theta. Correct? And as usual, now we'll use F equals ma towards the center of the circle. F will be if sine theta, the component, horizontal component of the normal force. F sine theta. F here. So the horizontal component will be F sine theta. So F sine theta equals M. A is V square over R. So now the F I can replace with mg over cos theta, that into sine theta equals m v square over r. Now guys, r is half the diameter, right? So I can write it as d over 2. Am I right? D over 2. So on either sides, I can cancel off the m's, and g sine theta over cos theta will become tan theta. V square over d over 2. The 2 will go up and it will make it 2v square over d. Correct? V square over d over 2 means 2v square over d. Now if you get the tan theta subjected from here, tan theta will be 2v square over gd. Did anyone watch Barbie? No. Huh? I don't know what the hell is that. My wife wants to watch. And
So it's
So-
I saw the trailer. It's a Barbie going into the real world and causing chaos.
I have no. I had to wear pink and go. Any questions with this? V square over d over 2, right?
Excuse me, sir.
Give me a minute, hold on. That means v square into 2 over d, right? V square over d over 2 means v square divided by d over 2, right? That means v square multiplied by 2 over d, right? That is 2v square over d, right? Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
if you put in the upward direction, right? F cos theta, how is it equal to mg and not minus mg?
So the upward force is F cos theta.
Yeah.
Downward force is mg. So the upward force is equal to downward force.
Oh, very good.
F cos theta equals mg. Right? So the next one is a matter of substitution. Calculate the angle theta using the design criteria. So design criteria is what? Speed is 9.72. V is 9.72. And the D is 30 meters. Diameter is 30 meters.
So why isn't V 9.78?
They are asking calculate the angle theta using the design criteria. Design criteria is what is given here. These are criteria. No?
Yes.
So then substitute tan theta equals 2v square, which is 9.72 square, over G 9.81 D30. From that you can calculate the theta. $32.7. Is that okay? Guys, what's next? Oh, there's another part. A bank track will cost more to build. A bank track will cost more to build. Suggest whether there are any significant advantages that would justify the cost. What do you think? Correct. That is one thing. Guys, why should it be bank? Have you noticed that there is a bank even in the roads? If you see the turning, the roundabouts, at certain points you will see one side of the road is slightly tilted. Have you noticed it? Have you noticed? Just go and check the recently built roads. I can give you a few locations. If you are going to one golf field, that road at the entrance side, there's a bench. So there is a significant banking there. You can go and check if you have a look at it. One side is there's a significant angle, you can notice it. That is one point. Or even if you just take these roundabouts, guys, you will see the recently built ones, there is a slight tilt onto one side. But the problem is with our drainage system, those bankings become set off after some time. We can't maintain it at certain points. And if you see the car parks, okay, storage car parks, if you go and check it at even at maybe CCC or wherever there is a turn, there's a steep turn. I mean, a very turns with a small radius. You will see one side is actually tilted. If you notice hereafter, you will see even at one golf is mall or at CCC, or if you go to Dialogue at Union Place, you will see that at one side it's a bit tilted. That is because the reason is the normal contact force is then not vertical. The normal contact force is at an angle. So then from the normal contact force, there will be a component towards the center of the circle. So that means that normal contact force itself will give you a support to take the bend. Otherwise, it is purely done by the friction. Understand? If it was not bad to take the turn, it has to be the friction between the tire and the ground. So in such cases, you will see they will make the ground really high, with high friction. Okay. So otherwise, what they can do is they can tilt it a bit. So the normal contact force will help you to take the bend. Exactly. Yes. So the question is about that. A bank track will cost more to build. Suggest whether there are any significant advantages that would justify the cost. Yes, and we can say the component of the normal force. The component of the normal force. The component of the normal force will contribute to the centripetal force. Will contribute to the centripetal force. So the centripetal force will be higher. Guys, what's next? $18. Right. Guys, 18 part A, I'm not going to do again. So the same thing. So I hope you do it or you have done it. Part B, the photograph shows a toy with small aeroplane suspended from a canopy by wires. As the platform rotates, the aeroplanes rise and follow a circular path. Yes. At a particular speed, the aeroplane follows a circular path of diameter 10.8 centimeters. The wire makes an angle 19 degrees with the vertical. Complete a free body force diagram for one of the aeroplanes at this speed. So this is the vertical. So the y is this way. And the tension from the y is there T. And this angle is 19. And the weight is, we don't know the weight, I will mark it just mg. These are the two forces that will be acting on the aeroplane. Okay. Show that at this speed, the time for an aeroplane to make 4 complete rotations is about 3 seconds. The mass of the plane is given 5.2 grams. This is the 4th question we are doing today of this category. So guys, if I consider the vertical equilibrium, T cos 19 is mg. T cos 19 is equal to mg. Considering the vertical equilibrium. If I use F equals ma horizontally towards the center of the circle, F equals the component of the tension to the horizontal is T sine 90. M into A is R omega square. Okay. So from this equation, I can get the T subjective. T equals mg over cos 90. I will substitute here for the T. Mg over cos 90 into sine 90 equals mr omega square. So the m's on either sides will cancel off. G sine 19 over cos 19 is tan 90 equals r omega square. Do we know the r? The diameter is 10.8 centimeters. So it will be 5.4 centimeters. So 5.4 divided by 100 to convert centimeters to meters into omega square. No. I am first finding the omega. After that, I will see what is the time taken for 4 rotations. So the omega will be G is 9.81 into tan 19 into 100 divided by 5.4, and you square root the answer, 7.909 radians per second. So the T, time taken for 1 rotation, will be 2 pi over omega, which will be 2 pi over omega is 0.794. This is the time taken for 1 rotation. So time taken for 4 rotations will be T into 4. So T into 4 will be 3.1 3.18 seconds, which is about 3 seconds. That is what they wanted you to prove. Any questions? Right. Okay. The next one, student A suggests that if the radius of the canopy was increased, and rotated at the same angular velocity as before, the wires supporting the aeroplanes could be vertical. The wires supporting the aeroplanes could be vertical. Student B suggests that wires would be at an angle of greater than 90 degrees to the vertical. Explain whether either of the students is correct. What do you think? I don't know. Even without checking, I feel like A is stupid. That can't be, no? Because you increase the radius. How can you keep it vertical? And no, that is not possible. But what do you think? If you increase the radius, what will happen? Okay, now let me take you, it's a 5 marker, guys. I'll take you through it once again.
Increase the radius. If we increase the radius, what do you call it? Omega go down.
On
If
the
we increase radius, won't the omega go up?
omega goes down. Let's see. I'll check. So student B is suggesting that the wires would be at an angle greater than 90. Okay. It's the same angular velocity as before. Right. Now look at this value. I will take you through the same work in don't write. Guys, T cos 19 equals, I'll take the angle to be theta. T cos theta equals mg. So T equals mg over cos theta, considering the vertical equilibrium. So now if I use F equals ma to the horizontal, F is T sine theta. That is m r omega square. Correct? No? So T is mg over cos theta. That into sine theta equals mr omega square. So the m's on either sides will cancel off. G tan theta equals r omega square. Now, tan theta equals r omega square over g. Okay, now listen to me. This is the relationship between theta and r and omega and g. G is anyway a constant. Correct? So guys, if you increase the r to get the same omega as earlier, tan theta has to be higher. Correct? So tan theta has to be higher means theta has to be higher. So the statement what B makes is, student B suggests that the wires would be at an angle greater than 90 to the vertical. Correct. B is correct. Understood. Check it again. I'm using the same thing again. We are using with the vertical. T cos theta equals mg. The angle is theta, weight is mg. Tension is T. So T equals mg over cos theta. Then I'm again using F equals mA, but this time with the variables. So T sine theta, mr omega square. M's will cancel off. T we replace with mg over cos theta. M's will cancel off. So G sine theta over cos theta is G tan theta. That is equal to r omega square. So this is the relationship between theta and omega and r. Okay. So tan theta equals r omega square over G. If G is anyway a constant, if you want to get the same angular velocity as earlier, now since the r is higher, tan theta will be higher, which means you will be the theta will be now higher. If it was 19 earlier, now it will be more than 19. So you can show this working and then write the statement. Okay, then write a statement. When the radius is increased, when the radius is increased, the angle theta will be higher. The angle theta will be higher. To maintain the same angular velocity. Theta will be higher to maintain the same angular velocity. So the suggestion of student B is correct. So the suggestion of student B what else? Have we completed the tube?
So can you go back? So I'm still writing the formula, sir.
Have we completed the tube? Did we miss anything? Which one? $16. Yeah, guys, can you start with the first one? Do the first one. forces. Okay, guys, we'll do this and go for a break. There are 4 forces acting on an aeroplane in flight as shown. The lift, weight, the forward force thrust, force exerted by the engine, and there's a drag force, maybe due to air resistance. Okay. So these are the 4 forces in general that will be acting on a plane. The lift force is perpendicular to the wings. The change direction, to change direction, the aeroplane banks so that one wing is lower than the other. The lift force is then no longer vertical. The aeroplane flies in a horizontal circular path at a speed of 52 meters per second. The diagram below shows an aeroplane banking at an angle of 20 degrees to the horizon. Show that the radius of the circular path is 100 meters. Mass and the speed of the plane are given. Okay, this is not a new question to you now. We have done now almost 4 or 5 questions of this same thing. So guys, if I mark the angles here, if this is 20, this will be 20. If that is 20, if I draw a vertical here, this will be 20. I'll take the lift force to be F and the weight to be mg. If I consider the vertical equilibrium, F cos 20, that's equal to mg. F equals mg over cos 20. So now if I use F equals ma toward the center of the circle, F is F sine 20. That is a centripetal force. Okay, the component of the force towards the center, that is F sine 20. That is equal to m v square over r. So guys, the F is mg over cos 20. That into sine 20 equals mv square over r. So as usual, the m's on either sides will cancel off. You are left with g sine 20 over cos 20 is tan 20 equals v square over r. So we are told to find what? Radius. So r equals v square over g tan theta. So r equals v is 54 square over g is 9.81 tan 20. So the R equals 54 square over 9.81, 10, 20, 816.7 meters. Okay, guys, I don't know how many of you noticed this in every single question that I did so far. And in general, I don't substitute the values at the beginning. Okay, I go with the symbols as long as I can, and then I do the substitution at the very end. That is what I did in every single question. Trust me, that will minimize the careless mistakes that you can make. And it's actually convenient also once you get used to it. Some people make the substitution at the very beginning, and then you will struggle with some decimal values, and there is easily you can make mistakes as well. So shouldn't it be 52 square? 52? Why 52? The question says the speed of the plane is 54 meters per second.
But initially it says the aeroplane flies in horizontal circular path at speed of 52 meters per second.
Ah, hold on.
Printing error.
It's actually a printing mistake. Is it? The aeroplane flies in a horizontal circular path at a speed of 52 meters per second here. And here they have mentioned 54. Actually, it's an error in the question. So in that case, I think it's okay because it won't make a
It'll come to 757.
yeah. Substitute anything. I think they should accept both.
It'll make a big difference, right? 757.
Yeah, 757. Still, that is closer to 800 meters. But if you take 54, you are taking 816. So method is the same. It's up to the V value. Both are okay. Actually, it should be 54. That's here. Because even in the next part, they are taking 54 meters per second. I don't know why this 52 come here. Should be 52, 54. Determine the time taken by the plane to move through 90 degrees of the circular
Excuse
path.
me, sir, can you go back for 1 minute? Sir? I'm still writing, sir.
There's 90 degrees of the circular path means quarter of a circle, right? Yes. Correct. Huh? So calculate the time period and divide it by
Okay,
4.
thank you.
So guys, speed is 54. So time taken for, now if you use V equals distance over time, okay? Speed is 54. Distance is 2 pi r divided by 4. That over t. Yes or no? The entire circle is a length of 2 pi r. So 90 degrees means quarter circle. Am I right? So that is 2 pi r divided by 4. So 54 cross multiply. 54 into t is equal to 2 pi r over 4 means 2 pi. What is the radius? What's the radius? 817, I'll take. That divided by 4. From here, get the T subjective. $23.8. That will give you the time for one circle and then divide it by 4. Still, it will be same, right? The last part of it, the wings of the plane are now level. The wings of the plane are now level as shown below. The speed and the magnitude of the lift force remains the same. The speed is the same. And the magnitude of the lift force is also the same. Explain what will happen to the vertical motion of the plane. Guys, now, what was the lift force? Do you know what is the lift force? Anyway, now the lift is now mg over cos 20, no? No? Is it more than mg or less than mg? Definitely more. No? No? Guys, mg over cos 20 means 1 over cos 20 into mg, right? Do you all do maths? Really? Cos 20, listen, cos 20 is a value between 0 and 1. Yes or no? So it's a decimal value between 0 and 1. So mg divided by a decimal value which is less than 1, between 0 and 1. So then obviously it will be more than mg, right? You don't? Yes, right? So F is definitely more than mg. Correct? So that means this upward force is more than the downward force. Yes or no? Explain what will happen to the vertical motion of the plane. Do you think the plane will just remain at the same height, or will it move down, or will it move up? It will definitely accelerate upwards because the resultant force is upwards. Understood? So write the statement there. The lift force is higher than the weight. Lift force is higher than the weight. Higher than the weight. So the resultant force is upwards. So the resultant force is upwards. So the plane will accelerate upwards. Right, guys, go for a break. See you in 15 minutes.
So could you repeat that, the last part, please?
The lift force is higher than the weight. So the resultant force is upwards. So the plane will accelerate upwards. The question number 3.
So what about question number 2?
Question number 2 we have done. Question number 3. Read the question. A flyboat enables a person to hover at a constant height above the sea, as shown. Water is constantly pumped up to the flyboat in a thick pipe. A jet of water is then forced downwards, causing an upward force on the flyboat. Okay. Calculate the velocity of the jet of water. Calculate the velocity of the jet of water as it leaves the flyboat. Assume that water has negligible velocity before it leaves the flyboat. Calculate the velocity of the jet of water as it leaves the flyboat. Assume that water has negligible velocity before it leaves the flyboat. Mass of the person in the flyboat is 175 kilograms. The mass flow rate of water is 114 kilograms per second. Guys, now listen. You know, force is equal to rate of change of momentum. Correct? So now when the water is moving out downwards, okay, in return there will be a force upwards acting on this flyboard and the man. That is how the man is balanced. So the weight of the man is acting downwards. The weight of the man is acting downwards. And the upward force by the water is on the man is acting upwards. These two forces are balanced. That's how he is under equilibrium. That's how he stays at a constant height. Correct? So by varying the water flow rate, he can either go up or he can go down or he can stay at the constant height. So when will he be staying at a constant height? When the upward force is equal to the downward force. Now first tell me, have you all seen this? Someone who is on a flyboat? Yes? Yes, right? Anyone who has never seen this, even on video or TikTok or Instagram? Anyone who has not seen this? Have you all seen it on live? Even just a few minutes before I saw one. Just a few minutes before.
It's very popular in Dubai.
Here. You haven't seen this? Okay. So the physics behind that is the water flows at a high rate. So the rate of change of water momentum, that will be equal to the weight of the man in the boat. So that will balance the forces and he will be under equilibrium, he or she. The person will be under equilibrium. So guys, now the momentum, mass of the person and the flyboat equipment, okay, 175. Mass flow rate of water is 114 kilogram per second. The amount of mass flowing per second. So rate, that means for a second, the mass flowing is 114 kilograms. Correct? So the initial velocity is 0 because it says calculate the velocity of the jet of the water as it leaves the flyboat. Assume that water has negligible velocity before it leaves the flyboat. So initial velocity of water is 0. So the final velocity V is what I want to find. Correct? So the weight of the person and the board, W equals mg. M is 175 kilograms. G is 9.81. So W equals the weight is 1116 or 1717 newtons. This is a weight. Okay. So the rate of change of momentum also has to be this to balance the man. So force equal rate of change of momentum, change in momentum over time taken. So change in momentum will be final momentum over initial momentum. Final momentum is 114 kilograms into final velocity is v, which we have to find, minus the initial momentum is 0 because initial velocity is 0. Over the time taken is 1 because this is, we are talking about 1 second, the mass flow rate of water, the amount of mass flowing per second. Am I right? So F is 1717. That is equal to 114 V. So V equals 1717 divided by 114, which is 15.06. So I'll take it as 15.1 meters per second. This is the speed at which the water should flow out to balance the person. Understood? Take it down. That right, guys, that's all for this.
So I don't understand how F is equal to W. F and W, how why using together?
These two are equal because they are saying what? He is at a constant height. Okay. If he is at a constant height, that means the vertical forces are balanced. So the upward force acting on the person by the water should be equal to his weight. Those are the two vertical forces. Right, guys, right on the next topic. So guys, from the A2 syllabus, from unit 4. So we have, guys, under unit 4, we have 3 topics. One is further mechanics, which we have completed now. The other one is electric and magnetic fields that we are going to start now. And the next one will be nuclear and particle physics. So we are done with 1/3 of unit 4. Okay. Right on the topic. Electric and magnetic fields. The topic is electric and magnetic fields. Under that, The subtopic is electric field. Electric field. Right. I believe you have heard about electric field for AS and O levels. So guys, an electric field is a region in space where a charged particle will experience a force. If you leave a charged particle anywhere, and if it experiences a force, that means that region is an electric field. Correct? Right under that. An electric field is a region in space. An electric field is a region in space an electric field is a region in space where a charged particle will experience a force. Where a charged particle will experience a force. Right on the next subtopic. Electric field strength. Within brackets E, capital E. Okay. Electric field strength. As the name it suggests, electric field strength, what do you think it is? Just your idea by reading it, electric field strength. What do you think it is? What? Magnetic field strength? Electric field strength. When you read that, what is coming to your head?
What a charged particle will experience in electric field.
No, shall we give me a very simple idea? By just reading it, electric field strength. Now you know what is an electric field. Right? So what do you what? Huh?
The strength of electric field.
Strength of the electric field. Okay. So which means how strong the electric field is, isn't it? Don't complicate it. Electric field strength, that means how strong the electric field is. No, that should be the idea of electric field strength. So it's a measurement of how strong an electric field is. There can be really strong electric fields. There can be mild electric fields, weak electric fields. No. So electric field strength is a numerical value that we can give for an electric field to measure how strong the field is. Okay. So guys, by definition, so what is the definition of electric fields? So the definition is, if you keep a unit positive charge, a 1 coulomb charge in the electric field, how much force it will experience. Okay, that is the definition. It is the force acting per unit positive charge in the electric field. Right under that. It is the force. It is the force acting per unit charge. It is the force acting per unit charge on a small positive charge. On a small positive charge. Okay. So guys, let's say there's a charge Q in an electric field and it is experiencing a force F. So then electric field is going to be F over Q. Now F is a force, Q is a charge. So F over Q will give you the force acting per unit charge. So as an equation, it becomes if E equals F over Q. Take it down. So if you cross multiply, you can give it as E equals FQ. Where F is the force, Q is the charge, and E is the electric field strength. Is that okay? Right, guys, use your common sense and tell me now, what should be the unit of E? What should be the unit of E? Newtons per coulomb. F is newtons, Q is coulomb, so newtons over coulomb, which is newtons per coulomb. Okay. I'm asking for E, electric field strength as unit. So it will be newtons per coulomb. Correct. There are two units. One is newtons per coulomb. By this equation, you can figure it out. And there's another unit for the electric field strength, which is volts per meter. We'll see what is that later. But now just take it down. Unit of E is newtons per coulomb or volts per meter. Right? Fine. So guys, let's continue from this point on the next day. Wait, hold on. For one last 30 seconds, listen to me. We are done with the topic for the mechanics. So very simple, guys. Until you are done with your exams next May, June, every week just do 2 questions from that unit. Okay, at least until we start past papers, maybe somewhere around in January or February. Until then, from this tune, every week just keep doing 2 questions and don't forget the topic. That's the important part. If you don't do any questions from this tune for the next couple of months, trust me, in another 2 months, this will be a topic like you feel like you have never done this. So just keep doing that. There were certain techniques that we used in equations. There were certain patterns that we used in same way that you simplified in each question. So you will keep using those methods and be familiar with it. That's it for the day. See you next week. No, there's no class next week. See you week after next. Bye. Take care.
Oh, this time.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Hi. How are you? What brought you here? For the graduation. Ani?